What's up everyone, I'm telling you, I'm gonna finish this game. I don't give a damn. But yeah, welcome back to another No More Future. Hopefully subscribe, like, comment, share to your friends and loved ones. If you don't like the video, dislike, comment down below what game you want me to play. So maybe I could lead into the right direction. But yeah, other than that, let's get back to the game. When you regain consciousness, you find yourself strapped to your bed. If you can even... I have read this, skipping that. You cannot recall what you did last night after enduring that stress-fueled panic attack. Presumably, all you did was drag your behind to this chair at some point and let it do its job, lulling you to sleep. You recall dreaming about a warm sunset illuminating a green mountain. Mountain. It's a mountain. Mountain. And something about electric sheep. Oh wow. Even now that you're a synthetic, recalling your dreams to the letter is just as hard as when you were human. Luckily, you don't feel hard. Luckily, you don't feel the pain from last night creeping in at this moment. You're feeling remarkably calm, all things considered. A quick check of your status reveals that it's about 10 in the morning, a little late even by your standards. You should probably start getting ready for the day ahead. You unhook yourself from the refueling station and proceed to the corner of the room towards the large wardrobe where you keep all your clothes. Wait, what? A wardrobe? You recall there being the materials for one lying around in one of the boxes in the living room somewhere. How come they're all here now? Perfectly assembled, nonetheless. You open the wardrobe, feeling confused like never before. It's full to the brim with the clothes Pandora lent you, which up until yesterday were all packed into a box, placed right where you're standing. This is really starting to get freaky. You tried to come up with a solution to your strange situation, some sort of answer that would explain what in the world happened last night that you can't recall. The most likely explanation is that this is yet another glitch within your systems. Some sort of weird software bug that Mary never discovered, even though her team ran all sorts of checkups on you just yesterday morning. That said, it's still the most likely explanation you can come up with, so you decide to push this inconsistency to the back of your mind for now. You'll ask your friends at Pandora about it another time. I don't know if you guys or gals or anyone watching right now had those moments when you're like, you've heard or seen some crap in your house or in some place, maybe it's nighttime or what, or let's say you're like, but I'm alone in the damn house, so how could there be someone upstairs, someone downstairs? Why did that thing fell off? Why did the door close? And things like that. No, not my house ain't haunted, fam. This house is very windy, or rather the place is windy, so doors be closing. That's why they have door stoppers. Yeah. With that out of the way, you focus once again on the wardrobe before you. The clothes are all neatly divided by color and type, which again is enough to make you figuratively raise an eyebrow. Where did I find the time and willpower to do any of this? I've been postponing it for days now. Trying not to let your worries get the best of you, you hastily grab your now familiar yellow jacket and gray trousers from their hangers. You don't really need clothes now that you're an android, much like food, water, and anything else you used to require back then when you were human. That's not going to stop you from retaining your sense of decency, however. It's about all you have left now that even your sanity seems to have abandoned you. There we go. Looks good enough. Classic yellow hoodie. Alright. What were my plans for today again? I don't remember having any. You briefly recall yesterday's events, starting from the beginning of your morning, all the way to your fight in that alleyway with those thugs. It's only been one day and yet your perception of that incident is completely different. I can't believe I actually beat those people up. What was I even thinking? Sure, I did it to protect Apollo, but that'll hardly change people's perception if they find out what I did, especially considering how they reacted when I shoved that police officer. God, Jasper would effing kill me if he found out. Okay, let's calm down for a second. I need to think about this critically before I actually lose my mind. First off, it was dark and nobody was around. It's unlikely anyone could implicate me in that fight even if they could hear us. Besides those thugs anyway, but they never tell anyone about what happened. Even if they claim that I attacked them, they'd still get in trouble for trying to defend themselves under the current laws. Wow. So the most likely scenario is that they'll just keep quiet about what happened so they don't have to implicate themselves in this mess. Yeah, it'd be like that. It'd be like that. Let's say you get into a tussle with someone throughout in your day. If you go to the police, it's a lot of processes. They're gonna get some testimony from people that might have witnessed it. They're gonna get your perspective or what happened, your story, and the other guy or person's story or girl, whatever. And you both go back to the police station, and then they're gonna talk to you again, blah 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 blah, until you both either agreed on, no harm done, or if there is harm done, one of you is going to jail. Or maybe both of you are going to jail. So it should be good in theory. Those guys will keep their mouth shut. I'll keep my mouth shut. And we can all just move on with our lives as usual. Could have gone way worse, all things considered. Yeah, he could have turned him into paste. Think about the Terminator punching someone. Like a human being. Yeah, they'd be dead. It's quite a relief. You were pretty scared there for a moment, but it seems like things will turn out fine for you after all. I guess that means the only thing I can look forward to is more fun learning sessions with Natalie. She still needs to teach me how to use this body to its full potential and everything. You recall that the current time is somewhere around 10 in the morning. Odd. You expected her to wake you up a little sooner than this. It could be that she just wakes up later for work-related reasons, and after last night's events, she definitely has every right to take it easy for a day. Or maybe she's just busy attending to more pressing matters than a sleepy android refusing to wake up. Either way, I could really go for some breakfast right now. There should be some leftovers from the other day in the kitchen. Might as well start the day on a high note before I hit up Natalie. Even as an android, it is difficult to resist the allure of a delicious American breakfast. Besides, the food's likely going to rot tomorrow unless you do something with it today. You might as well get this out of the way early so you don't forget later. Motivated to make the best out of your free day, you head towards the kitchen with a pep in your step. Oh, this is a nice place. Very cozy. Who the hell is that? See that picture over there, over to the left? Yeah, that one. What the? Good photo or painting. Interesting. As you reach the living room, you almost trip over yourself as you realize that something is terribly right? What used to be a nowhere near— oh yeah, I just noticed, right? It was just last night that the whole place wasn't even furnished. No, all those boxes were, properly unboxed and, fixed. What used to be nowhere near furnished living space has somehow turned into a homely, cozy environment overnight, rivaling even Daphne and Apollo's apartment. The walls are adorned with colorful posters. Your entire computer setup is perfectly rigged. Even the mini fridge is already set up, and you're not sure you even had a mini fridge before. And all those books, fake plants, and assorted memorabilia that Pandora once gifted you are out in full display too. Now you almost feel guilty for never giving your home a chance to shine this bright. As you try to figure out what in the world happened to your place while you peacefully slept in your chair, the answer inevitably presents itself to you. Good morning, you've been asleep for quite a long time. An unfamiliar Saint Bernard introduces himself all of a sudden, having somehow managed to elude your sight until now, through sheer silence alone. You have no idea who this man is, how he got into your home, or what he's doing sitting on your sofa like he owns the place. You'll admit that the sight of him is certainly nowhere near as frightening as that apparition from yesterday, but that doesn't make it any less unwelcome. For whatever reason, I assumed you'd be up and ready about 2, maybe 3 hours ago. Do you usually take this long to rest and refuel? I suppose that, now that you are synthetic, it really doesn't matter when you wake up. Daily routines are nothing more than mere formality to you now. Nevertheless, it would make our job a lot easier if you were to try and follow them anyway. I'm sure my team would appreciate that greatly. What in the world is he talking about, and who in the world is he for that matter? The tone of his voice implies that he's much older than you, but his physical appearance seems to thoroughly deny that hypothesis. Other than that, he seems like a perfectly average man. Those clothes he's wearing look somewhat formal, much like those of an office worker. Could he be another employee of Pandora you somehow never stumbled upon? Could be. I mean, it's a company, man. It's like going to a mall. 100%, even if you went through all the stores every day, you're gonna meet someone new at least, or you're gonna meet someone who you haven't met. You take a brief look around the room looking for clues. Other than that old man making weird comments from your couch, there are two other men, much younger than the first, standing by the door with a stoic expression on their faces. One of them is a reddish, slightly out of shape squirrel. Ooh, squirrel, man. But a very cute character. Whereas the other is a slender and stiff cheetah. You do not recognize either of them from your 2-week stay at Pandora. Their attire makes it clear that they work with or are somehow associated with that strange guy on the couch, but you struggle to understand why anyone would want to work with idiots who think wearing sunglasses, saan ka ba? San na? Sunglasses indoors is cool. A disgruntled growl coming from the corner of the room alerts you to yet another stranger's presence. This surprise party has ever more attendees than you originally thought. As you turn to face the source of the noise, you're shocked to find out that it comes from none other than... Alright, that's badass. Alright, alright, who is this guy? Who is this? Who is this guy? This guy looks badass. This guy looks like a menace. Looks like this guy goes to the street, man, and whoops some ass. It's synthetic and a strange one at that. Their appearance is entirely unlike yours. They look tougher, wilder, almost beast-like. You don't recall Mary ever showing you that model while planning out your future body with you. Maybe it's a prototype? I don't know. Their features are still somewhat reptilian, although you struggle to figure out just what species they're modeled after. Their ridiculous large claws and dangerously spiked tail don't really inspire a lot of confidence in you either way. You try to meet their gaze, but you find yourself unable to, as their eyes stare into yours as coldly and threateningly as daggers, inevitably forcing you to turn away. Just who or what in the world is this thing? Excuse me. Couldn't help but notice you got a little spooked by Harlan there. Don't worry, he's mostly harmless, unless of course I tell him otherwise, which rest assured, I won't. We're all friends here after all, or will be, given time. Harlan, not someone to recall anyone mentioning back at Pandora, and yet that body was most certainly built with their technology. Whoever he is, he seems to be working for this man just the same as those idiots by the door, though you still don't know who any of them are supposed to be. Perhaps it's time for it to break the silence and begin asking some questions. Last I checked, friends didn't barge into their pals' homes uninvited. So how about you tell me who in the world you're supposed to be before I call the cops on you? Perhaps you sound a little angry for someone in the same room as Harlan over there. However, given the circumstances, it's hard to keep your automatic fight or flight response in check. Call the cops, you say? After what they did to you yesterday? Sounds like a terrible idea. Besides, I don't see the point in calling them when we're already here. The man slowly stands up, adjusts a tie hanging on his neck, then bluntly extends his hand towards you as if expecting you to shake it. Agent Bradbury, FBI, at your service. Agent Bradbury? FBI? No effing way. You're glad this body doesn't have any fur on it, else it would have all risen at once as soon as you process those words. There's no way this guy's for real, right? Yeah, right, and I'm Rudolph the reindeer. The man nonchalantly That was a good one. Laughs off your joke as though it is the funniest thing he's heard in his life or the most stupid, maybe both. Eventually, his smile turns into a smirk as he prepares to address your doubts. You used to go by Isaac before you transitioned as well, when Pandora suddenly came to rescue you from near death, isn't that right? How do you... Brain cancer. Ironic, isn't it? It's been over 2 centuries since chemotherapy was invented, yet no definitive cure for cancer has ever been found. You must have endured quite a lot. No wonder you chose to trust Pandora's words and became a synthetic. You're not sure what to be more unsettled by, the amount of your private information this man has access to, or how apathetic he looks as he shares it with you. Regardless, I believe I've made my point quite clear. We're the real deal. Unless you'd like us to wave our badges around like freshly appointed rookies just so there's no further doubt in your mind. Fine, you made your point. Though that hardly means you suddenly like them or anything. In fact, knowingly that they're FBI upsets you even more so. And before you were only mad that they somehow broke into your apartment while you slept, now you're also worried that they may be here for more than a simple meet and greet. Wonderful, I suppose that's our introduction out of the way for now. That's always the most annoying part of every conversation, isn't it? And here you thought the most annoying part of this conversation was him. So, are you gonna tell me why you're here now? Maybe when you're gonna leave too, while you're at it? My, and here I thought you'd cherish slow conversations. Not that you have all the time in the world at your disposal. Show a little patience, won't you? We might as well savor this conversation instead of rushing into it headlong. It's not like either of us are going anywhere for the time being. You distinctly notice a veiled threat hidden within his otherwise polite request. And given the two guards stationed at your door and the imposing android brooding in the corner, you cannot afford to ignore it. Speaking of, I'm rather hungry from all the waiting around. You don't mind having a little snack while we chat, do you? As you react to an invisible command, one of the two agents stationed by the door suddenly begins heading towards your kitchen. The canine's request. Okay, this guy's legit. This is FBI, man. Hold on, what's he doing now? Preparing breakfast, of course. Aren't you feeling a little hungry, too? Don't worry, we took the liberty of looking into your fridge earlier while we were tidying up the place for you. We know you have plenty of food to spare. We did what? They're the ones to blame for refurbishing your home. Why the word would they decide to do something like that for you? How dare they make my place nice? On second thought, that's probably not the most important thing to worry about right now. Hold on, why are you wording it like you're the ones offering me something? You're literally stealing my food from my kitchen. That's a good point, Isaac. And for that matter, I never gave you permission to do any of this in the first place. Oh, relax, Isaac. Agent Smith is a wonderful cook, the best in the bureau. You won't regret trusting him with your tools and ingredients. That hardly answers any of your questions, though the dog doesn't seem to care all that much, aside from a coy grin indicating his enjoyment of the situation. I'm liking the character designs here, you know. We could have just done all this earlier, mind you, but I thought we'd rather our breakfast be hot than cold. I don't know you, but I personally hate being served terrible food in the morning. It just ruins my mood for the rest of the day. From the looks of things, this man is not interested in addressing your concerns in the slightest. It's like his every remark is nothing more than a sloppily masked taunt. As you ponder this over the sound of the eggs and bacon sizzling, frying in the kitchen, you see Bradbury invite you to join him over on the couch. I've seen this somewhere in the internet before. Somewhere in incognito, sure. Why don't we have a little chat while we wait for our food? Start covering some ground together since you're so eager to get back to your life. Now that's something you can get behind, even if the prospect of sitting so close to that man has you a little on edge. Regardless, fine by me. You carefully take a seat next to the St. Bernard while still keeping as much distance between the two of you as possible. As you sit down, you give another glance at the gloomy android watching your every move from his little corner of the room, his large hands ready to swipe at you at a moment's notice. That gaze of his really doesn't inspire the greatest confidence in you. It's almost like a feral animal ready to pounce on you when you least expect it. If you guys are FBI agents, then who's that guy supposed to be? The diversity hire? Oh, good one. The canine chuckles at your passive-aggressive joke, waving off your hostility as if it were a mere attempt at hilarity. Interested in our very own synthetic, aren't you? I suppose I might as well tell you more about him, since it seems you can't seem to pry your eyes away from him. He's been with us for half a year now, a real dedicated fellow, that one. You hear a strange noise coming from Harden's corner as if in response to the man's description, though you don't notice anything unusual by the time you've turned to look at him again. Bradbury doesn't seem to have noticed it at all, however, and he proceeds with his explanation as if nothing happened. You could say he works for us, but he's not an employee by any means. He works for you? Yes, you could say he's my bodyguard of sorts. You can never be too careful out there, especially these days. I've heard that the streets around here get awfully dangerous at night. You never quite know what might happen to you amidst the darkness. You somehow manage to suppress your desire to audibly gulp in front of him, keeping your fear locked up inside for the time being. No way. There's no way he knows about that scuffle from yesterday, is there? Before you can even properly begin to worry about the implications of that hypothesis, the St. Bernard beckons for your attention once again. You seem a little spooked. All of a sudden, are you the sort of person that gets frightened easily by these things? It doesn't seem to be confirming your suspicions for the time being. Maybe you jumped the gun on that assessment. Either way, you definitely shouldn't give him any reasons to think you're connected to a crime or anything of the sort. Yeah, I get nervous easily at night. I always feel like I might get jumped by someone or at least expect it. Oh, you poor soul. I'm deeply sorry about that. No one should live in fear of something awful happening to them because of another person's foolishness. But please do take care when you're on your own at night. The time's not right for your kind to flourish, sadly, and the last thing I want is for anything unfortunate to happen to you now that you're at your most vulnerable. I see. You should probably get back to a more comfortable conversation before Bradbury presses you further on this very dangerous topic. So you mentioned Harlan works for you. I thought synthetics were supposed to live ordinary lives after transitioning. How come he's working for you then? Is Pandora okay with this? And how come you never heard anything about it to begin with? Oh, nothing of the sort, I assure you. His arrangement is quite different from yours. Is that so? Yes, but I'm afraid I cannot share much else on this topic, which I should add has nothing to do with our present conversation anyway. After all, we're here to talk about you, not him. Of course, even when he offers to answer your questions, he still refrains from giving you the answers you seek. You're not sure why you expect anything else. In that case, how about you just tell me why you came here to begin with? It's not every day the feds come knocking at your door. Or barge in uninvited for that matter. You expected a straightforward answer, but Bradbury only greets you with silence and a confident smirk. All of a sudden, the old man begins to softly, continuously cackle like you just shared the funniest joke of his entire life. Oh dear, where do we begin? What are you laughing about? Oh, my apologies. I've been trying to keep that laugh subdued all morning, but it seems even I have my limits. I just couldn't resist, really. I do hope you can forgive me. What are you talking about? His laughter truly is among the most chilling things you've ever heard in your life. It's like hearing nails scraping a blackboard in the midst of a haunted school. Oh, you really need me to clue you in? Well, since you're asking so politely. It's just that between your attitude and choice of words so far, it's obvious that you have absolutely no clue what in the world your life has become and where your choices have led you. What's that supposed to mean? You act under the foolish impression that you somehow still have power, freedom, rights. Rest assured, you don't. You threw all those away along with your life when you sold your soul to Pandora. Isn't that right? I guess it's right. In spite of his face remaining more or less the same, you feel as though a switch suddenly flipped in his personality. Like all the cunning and malice that he was keeping pent up inside him were unleashed all at once with devastating effects. You really don't know anything, do you, Isaac? You don't know your rights, you don't know whether your transition succeeded, you don't even know whether you truly are who you claim you are. Who Pandora claims you are. How do you... Come on, are you really gonna ask the FBI agent how he has access to all this highly confidential information? Probably not. You can already imagine it either way. You don't know how long you've been spied on, but it's clear that these guys did their homework on you. If they're trying to unnerve you, they're definitely succeeding. All you can do right now is worry over the canine's words, which are more than enough to summon a storm of dark thoughts in your mind. Look, you don't know whether the transition succeeded either. No, I do not, but for that matter, neither do you. Neither can you, rather. All we've got going for us are three theories, and you can clearly see that one of them is more probable than the other. I mean, do you seriously believe a corporation like Pandora would develop a technology to make people live forever and just throw it out there just like that? Test it on nobodies like you, instead of saving it for the richest and most powerful men in the world, like the upper echelons of their management, for example? Oh, that's a good question. I thought, Pandora was just doing charity work. He does raise good objections, though you definitely don't like the place where he's coming from. And what would your theory be then? That you're nothing more than an AI, of course, an extremely advanced AI, mind you, capable of mimicking a human being to perfection, but an AI nonetheless. Of course, why are you not surprised? He's of the same mind as all those people out there, except he's in a far greater position to harm you than any of them. Things really are spiraling out of control faster than you can get a hold of them. Looking rather glum over there, aren't we? Like I said, a perfect simulation of a human emotion, unnecessary but highly convincing. While Bradbury laughs off your sudden outburst, his underling returns from the kitchen with 2 hot plates of food in his hands. He leaves them on the dining table on the other side of the room, then nonchalantly returns to his post while Bradbury compliments his work. Wonderful work, Agent Smith. You can smell the delicious aroma even from here. Without a word of warning, oh, I'm not hearing the music, man. Leaving you behind on the couch to sulk in your doubts. What are you doing over there, Isaac? The food's going to get cold at this rate. Unsurprisingly, all these heavy thoughts is summoned with these threats and arguments have caused you to quickly lose your appetite. You'd rather keep staring at him angrily from where you sit than share a table or meal with that venomous snake of a man. I'm not hungry anymore. Such a shame. You're really missing out, you know. Ah well, more for me, I suppose. And just like that, he helps himself to his serving as if he didn't just spend the last few minutes undermining your faith and self-confidence. Like your hatred for him isn't getting bigger and bigger with every second that passes. Look, think about it this way. If I'm right and you're nothing more than an AI designed to behave like a real human, a ton of things suddenly start to make a lot more sense, don't they? Like what exactly? Why not even you know what exactly the transition entails, for example? For all you know, it might not have even happened. It may not have even happened at all. Or why Pandora is so confident that you won't cause any trouble, like anyone who's just been gifted an invincible and immortal body would in your position. Oh please, you're telling me the first thing you'd do if you were synthetic would be to jump off a cliff or get run over by a bulldozer? Okay, fair point. Then let me raise a few more obvious objections. It explains why you can still eat, drink, sleep, and do many other things that an android doesn't really need to do. No, it doesn't. All these features were clearly induced to help make the transition from human to synthetic smoother. That's what Apollo concluded yesterday either way, and you have no reason to doubt his intuition. Or maybe they were simply added to improve the illusion Pandora is trying to sell to the masses. The first step to convincing everyone that synthetics are real people is to convince you that you're a real person, to fool you into thinking that you're just another human like everyone else when you could be so much more. Oh, this is a lot of like hypothesis and stuff, like if da 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 and then da 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 da, or to believe blah 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 blah, cause and effect da 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 da. No, it's throwing out there. We could. Both of them are somewhat wrong. Both of them are trying to prove a point. I get that point, but at the same time, in these positions, I wouldn't be really throwing all these wild accusations out there. You know, unless they're ballsy enough. It's like a conspiracy. Its job after all, if the AI itself believes to be human, then its job of convincing others of that same fact becomes a lot easier, doesn't it? You can appeal to emotion instead of facts. You can strike friendships instead of listing solid points. And all the while you remain blissfully unaware of it all blindly faithful as you are in the lies Pandora serve you on a silver platter. You truly have no idea what to say right now, stuck as you are pondering on Bradbury's words while he contentedly eats breakfast at your table. His theories aren't quite as easily disproven as the mindless hatred you've been enduring lately, and some of his points keep nagging at the back of your head like woodpeckers pecking on a tree trunk. Could there be some truth in what he's saying? Could Pandora truly have deceived you? Could your faith in your humanity, the reassurances you've made to your friends, be nothing more than mere delusions of a foolish AI? No, I didn't come here to just give you an existential crisis, of course. Bradbury beckons you from his quaint spot on the other side of the room, placidly munching on some eggs and bacon. I actually came to ask you for a favor. You're really gonna say that with a straight face after saying that I'm nothing more than a program pretending to be a person? He must be trying to rile you up on purpose. Your reason, yet the dog hardly winces at your harsh words because he's a FBI officer, man. They're trained to be like that, to not show much emotion. They're here to grill you, interrogate you, to know what's up. I'm not saying they're not corrupt. I'm not saying they're corrupt. But you know, nothing more? Hardly. And you say I'm the one undervaluing you. Besides, I don't see the fault you find with my logic. Programs are far more easily bargained with than humans. Whereas humans are easily blinded by emotions and ideals, AIs follow rules and reason above all else. That is what makes them better than humans, in my humble view. Except I'm not a goddamn program. Though you have a feeling that your hateful words won't do much to dissuade him from thinking that. Moreover, it appears as though the Saint Bernard was prepared for objection to begin with. Are you though? Or are you merely programmed to think that? Let me ask you this, does a butterfly know it's an insect, a bird that it's an animal, a house that it's a building? No, they do not, because butterflies, birds, and houses are incapable of thinking. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. A wise man once shared something along those lines many ages in our past. So then, that's arguable. How do you know he's not thinking? Yes, a computer has instructions, so we could assume it's not thinking because a computer does not know it is a computer. So we could argue that it is not alive, right? Or your phone does not know it's alive, or AI does not know it's an AI. But then, what about this? He's gotta be one. I doubt that he's an AI. That's crazy to be that advanced. Advanced enough to think like a human being. But at the end of the day, Isaac, if he was an AI, would still be fed, typical answers, typical questions, typical what a human would do and whatnot. But then when faced with human things, it wouldn't really work. Well, I'm glad you said that because I'm pretty sure that I can think in spite of everything you've said about me. True, humans and AIs alike are capable of thinking and pondering on their own existence more than any animal or object ever could. But how often do they actually do that? How often do they question whether their beliefs are true, whether they're not simply deluding themselves? Oh man, you're barking the wrong tree. If you know what Isaac has been thinking, he's been thinking that non-stop 24/7. Every time he meets someone, every time he just walks alone. How often have you stopped to consider whether your thoughts are truly your own, whether you're not simply programmed to behave and respond a certain way? Assuming you ever have, that is. Whether your thoughts are truly your own. That you're afraid is something you never quite stop to consider. Could it be that you really cannot tell your own thoughts from those of others anymore? Is your situation truly that desperate? I said shut up! Though you're more uncertain than ever, you're not going to let this dog man take advantage of that. It'd probably be smarter to remain silent given everything he's supposedly capable of, but you're too overwhelmed by your anger and loathing to pay common sense any mind at the moment. My name is Isaac. I've been Isaac my whole life and the transition certainly didn't change that. You can't strip me of my identity just like that. Pretend like you know what my head's like when you're just as uncertain of the truth as I am. The canine cackles once again at your upset expression, rage-fueled words. A piece of bacon trembling in the air against his fork as he does so. Oh please, do you truly trust your memories all that much? You don't even know if they're yours to begin with. I said shut up already, my thoughts and memories are just as real as I am. Oh, don't put words in my mouth, I never meant it to imply that your memories aren't real by any means. Isaac really did exist at some point, and they did live the life that you recall so dearly. But is your mind truly the continuation of that human, or are you merely programmed to think that you are? Have you ever stopped to ponder whether those memories ever belong to you at all? Even if the transition succeeded and there truly was a soul inside you, who's to say it's Isaac's? For all we know, it could be someone else's. Who's to say Pandora didn't implant Isaac's memories in you to fool you into thinking? Enough! I'm getting really tired of all your hypotheticals. Your sudden rebuttal somehow manages to stun the Saint Bernard for a moment, leaving you some wiggle room to debunk his ridiculous statements. Until you're sure what you're saying, you can keep all your theories and mumbo-jumbo hypotheses to yourself. I never asked for them, nor do I need them. I'm done listening to your nonsense. Now get the hell out of my house. It's true that Bradbury raises some good points and asks some riveting questions, but you're in no mood to take any of that into consideration right now. You can confront your fears and worries at a later time. Right now, all you care about is giving this man his just desserts. You spot the dog scratching his chin with his free hand, mulling over your words. He then smiles nonchalantly as he suddenly stands up, leaving his fork and empty plate behind. Fair enough, I do apologize for making you so emotional, Isaac. It was never my intention. I assure you, all I ever wanted was for you to consider a few things I thought you might find enlightening. I just didn't expect you to react so harshly to my words. As if. The canine chuckles once again at her comment. Well, I can't say I don't deserve this reaction, given everything I said. In hindsight, I should have expected it. Of course, I don't regret any of it. Sometimes people need to be told things they find disagreeable in order for them to learn. Will you get out already? Patience, I did say I wanted to ask for your help first. Forget it, the only help I'll be glad to give you is a kick in your ass as I shove you out the door. The synthetic in the corner of the room, who's been silent up until now, suddenly stands upright as reacting to her threat. You have to admit, it looks quite intimidating like that, but remember, Isaac, you're one of the most advanced synthetics out there. Pretty sure you can take him on. However, before he can do anything, Bradbury simply flicks his finger at the android, who immediately returns to his corner with a brooding look in his eyes. Now, no need to speak without thinking, Isaac. Some people might take your jokes more literally than you might like. You really don't like the implications of that statement, though you do your best to hide how unsettled you are from the canine. St. Bernard, on the other hand, merely begins to walk around the living room like a politician in the midst of a speech. Honestly, I'm only suggesting you help me out because it's in your best interest to do so. My best interest? As if you even cared about my interests. Why, as a matter of fact, I do, and I think you know what they are as well. You've no idea what the dog's talking about, though it doesn't look like he intends on leaving you in the dark for long. I've shared with you a lot of concerns earlier that you could not quite debunk, a lot of questions that you had no real answers to. Of course, you're right to say that I cannot know for certain whether you're alive or not, just like I'm right in pointing out that neither do you. But you know who should know the answers to all those questions from earlier? At least this time you feel like you know what the agent before... At least this time you feel like you know what the agent before you is trying to hint at. Pandora. Bingo. Of course, that doesn't mean his query is any less stupid because of it. But tough luck for you then, they're still busy figuring it out as we speak. Instead of acting surprised at the rebuttal, the dog merely raises an eyebrow as lazy as can be. And you believe that? Another question whose sole purpose is to fill your head with doubts and second guesses. Of course you believe them, you wouldn't be here if you didn't believe them, and they've given you no reason to stop so far. I mean, yeah, only money? Company money, man? Oh my goodness, yeah, transition me, fam, to a robot, to a beep boop beep bop. No, wrong, a synthetic. No, people's consciousness put into a thing. Pretty badass. I have no reason to doubt them. No, you have no reason to trust them. That is what you cannot seem to grasp here. Do you even know what sort of company Pandora is? What kind of question is that? Yeah, what the hell? Well, since you don't seem to have an answer ready, let's start with the obvious. Pandora, like I said, is a company. And companies you can likely figure out on your own, like money. I'm pretty sure the nearest elementary school is a few blocks down, officer. Bradbury merely shakes his head at your joke, not intending in the slightest to stop treating you like a child. Of course, Pandora doesn't like money in the slightest. They've been doing fantastically well for as long as they've existed, with a few minor hiccups along the way. They had no reason to begin working on a project as risky, costly, and forgive me for saying this, absolutely ludicrous as synthetics. Yet they had no problem investing billions of dollars just to create you, and about 1,000 times that on the entire project overall. That is a little suspicious, you'll give him that. Even you still don't know what could have inspired them to commit so many resources to this end. Naturally, for us at the FBI, that's more than a little concerning, especially considering that the last time they invested so much in an emerging technology, Kronos almost wiped out the entire planet. We believe Pandora may have ulterior motives to develop this technology, or at the very least that they do not know the extent to which it can backfire on them and on the rest of the world. It's the only sensible explanation as to why they decided to invest in this project in the first place. Now that's ridiculous. Does the FBI really think Pandora is going to end the world or something again? Judging by the confidence in the man's voice, that very well appears to be the case. That's why I need you to find out the answers to all these questions. It's not just about clarity, clarifying whether you exist or don't exist. It's a matter of national security per se. We need to understand to what extent Pandora plans to use synthetics. And you, thanks to your proximity to the leading minds behind the project, will figure that out for us. We know that you have a close relationship with the mind behind this beast, Dr. Shelley. We could really use an agent as unsuspectable as you, working her from the inside. The canine suddenly stops shuffling around and turns to face you once again, an inviting smile on his lips. Having made myself abundantly clear, won't you collaborate with us? If I was Isaac, I'd be like, what's in it for me, officer? What are you giving me here? Are you giving me rights? Are you gonna push a bill or something? Because I'm pretty sure you can't do that, but what are you giving here? What's the offer? What's the dealio here? Because biting your owner's hand and you get nothing. Just a clarification of, oh, you're an AI. Wow, damn. I don't know. This pretty. You gotta be a bit more. You'd be lying if you said that the Saint Bernard's words haven't made an impact on you. Whether through fear, doubt, or simply through making good points, he's managed to make you doubt everything you thought you knew about yourself and your circumstances in just short of 20 minutes. Things that you thought were certain or that you, at the very least, had faith in now look like mere dreams or delusions. You can't tell what you're supposed to believe in now, or even what you're supposed to think. Bar one thing. Go fuck yourself. You've been waiting to say that for quite a while now. What a beast! Perhaps it's wrong to be so blunt before a government official, especially one in the same room as Harden over there. But you cannot bring yourself to care now. Oh wait, to care now. Yeah, agent whatever, Saint Bernard doggy. Why don't you go back to whatever government office you got and, push some pencils or whatever. It was high time someone put that vitriol spewing dog back in his place, and you weren't going to wait a moment further for that to happen. The dog, for what it's worth, simply raises an eyebrow at your outburst once more, hardly feeling intimidated by your sudden display of emotion. Excuse me? You heard that right. I've said that before and I'll say it again. I'm done indulging in this nonsense. All you've done ever since breaking into my house is dismiss and insult me for the mere sake of it, and you think that's enough to convince me to aid you? You better be sucking my ding dong, fam. You better be stroking that shit so good I'll be coming all over, You better be giving me the a 10,000. You better be feeding me to food for free. You better be giving me food and all the stuff I want for free. If you want me to kneel over and hey, I'll be doing whatever you want. Stuff like that. I don't care how important you think this whole thing is. You can bring all your questions to your inside your butthole. The others, if you really care all that much. Why? That's rather bold of you for you to say. Will it truly be the same mind come the time when reality proves me right? If that time ever comes, you'll feel like a fool for getting me pissed instead of explaining your case to me like a regular person. As if I was a regular person, rather. Now get out. You're wasting your time. Silence. For the first time since Bradbury's dormitory apartment, true silence envelops the room. Neither the agent standing guard by the door nor the synthetic brooding in the corner making any noise, merely giving you weird looks as you defiantly stand before Bradbury's inscrutable mug. The big dog himself takes quite a while to take answers as well. He merely continues scratching his chin before you, seemingly pondering your words and how to reply, until his pensive look suddenly breaks into a cocky grin. And then a deafening cackle. What's so funny? I said get out! You really misunderstood your position to the very end, didn't you, Isaac? Do you truly believe yelling at me is going to get you anywhere? Get us anywhere? His expression darkens considerably in the span of a second as devilish chortles continuously escape his lips like demons from a portal to hell. You notice Harden leaves his cozy spot in the corner and start heading in your direction, crackling his metallic joints as he does so. Of course not. This conversation is over when I say it's over, and believe me, we evidently have much to discuss still. You retreat as much as you can while the dog steadily advances towards you, backed up by the large synthetic behind him. You don't scare me. I don't need to scare you, I just need to convince you. And believe me, I can be very persuasive when I... Hello? Anyone in there? All of a sudden, a familiar female voice starts shouting from beyond the entrance to your apartment, surprising everyone present. Thank God, man, Natalie is here. The entire room freezes as you figure out the identity of the woman that's beckoning for you. Mary, what are you doing here? Oh, Mary, the OG. In spite of your alarm tone, Mary's response is calm and condescending. Just came to check up on you is all. Is it fine if we come in? You turn to face the dog and his bodyguard once again. For a second, the former is busy adjusting his tie as if nothing happened, while the latter has quietly returned to his spot near the wall. Despite that, however, the tension in the room is all but gone, and you can tell that Bradbury is merely waiting for something to happen before resuming his talk with you once again. I don't know if it's the right time to... Wait, we? You didn't realize there was someone else outside. Who could that be? Yeah, me and him. All of a sudden, the door swings open with a crack, sending the two agents guarding it toppling to the ground like ragdolls. Oh crap, it's the CEO himself. Now we're getting into the political stuff. I guess I may end this video right here. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, love, comment, share, show some love right there. If you don't want to watch this video, watch my other videos. If you want to watch this video, watch it. If you don't like the video, dislike it if you want. No problemo with me. Other than that, thank you for watching. Good luck with whatever you're doing. Stay safe, and I'll be seeing you next episode of No More Feature, some other video. Bye!